Hello, I'm Sage for Kalkine Media, reporting from the Australia-India International Business Summit 2022 here at the Four Seasons Hotel in Sydney. We're very lucky to have an interview with Invest India's CEO, Deepak Bagla. Thank you, Deepak, for joining us.
Thank you, Sage. Pleasure.
Can we start with the most important topic, foreign direct investment? How will India's economy benefit from more FDI? Do you see investment in telehealth and medtech being more important than Indian agriculture?
Actually, let me start with the second part. It's not more important. Both are critical for us. But on FDI itself, FDI has two elements to it. Sage, it's not just about the money which comes in and the capital, but it's also about the technology and the trust which comes with it. So let me just share a few numbers with you. We closed, and we have our annual closure in March. So March 2022, we closed with an FDI of $83.5 billion. It's the highest ever FDI we've got in our history. What's interesting is that for 8 consecutive years under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, every year we've set up a new FDI record. And over the past 8 years, we've got about 532 billion from 162 countries. And for me, it's not just the 532 billion which is critical. I think what is really very interesting is today 162 countries trust India for its future, trust India for its leadership, and have faith in India for its opportunity. And more interestingly, it has come in 61 sectors. So the breadth of opportunity in India is changing immensely and growing. And what is also it is reflecting of that India is at a very interesting inflection point in its history. We are looking at an India which is by 2047 will be 100 years old. And India will at that point of time will probably be one of the fastest growing economies on the planet. And as you know, we already are the fastest growing large economy. But let us look at what will happen in the next 9100 days. You'll have an India at 100 years. You'll have an India with a human resource of 1.6 billion, the highest on the planet. You'll have 21% of the world's population in India. 21% of the world's middle class in India. And 20% of the world's workforce in India. So that entire transition at this rapid growth at which this juggernaut is moving does require a lot of partnership globally. So going back to that FDI point of yours, that FDI brings us this partnership, which is how the world grows together and how we grow with the world together. And I think that is what is very important.
Thank you so much for sharing those statistics. That's amazing growth at such a fast pace. So the Australia and India's Economic Cooperation and Trade Pact has been discussed, with close to 280 million Australian dollars being talked about to be poured into Indian industries. WiseTech Global, a big Australian tech firm, has established a base in India. And mobile phones were a huge commercial success about 15 years ago in India, creating traction for the middle class. Do you think more investment in LIDAR, robotics, cyberspace and space industries will also lead to more traction for the middle class in India?
I'm very optimistic first on the trade agreement. I think what this is a very important enabler. And the very fact that both the governments have come together, worked on it in such a short period of time, and it's a win-win situation. You see, the importance is for any industry to grow, they need to expand their balance sheet. India today offers probably one of the largest and most attractive market opportunities, both in size of the consumer, which there is, and size of the growth at which it is growing. Frankly, if I may say so, it's an imperative in virtually every balance sheet. This trade pact creates that enabling system, to my mind, which will further integrate both the economies together and work closer. And I think that's going to be very important. As far as investment in cyberspace is concerned, as far as investment in security is concerned, these are very critical. Every and each of these elements, Sage, is important as we move on in our growth paths. And not just as an economy, but as for individual and each of its citizens. I mentioned to you that we've got an FDI interaction in over 61 sectors. Each of those sectors is important. Our lives are getting disrupted. Technology and innovation is changing completely every moment of our existence. And as these moments are getting reformed, and there is a new way ahead which is taking place, each and every sector becomes a critical aspect to get that jigsaw to make it forward. So I think all these are going to add up to a very important point.
Thank you so much. It sounds like if it's affecting that many sectors, the growth at this rapid pace, it must be creating a lot of jobs. Do you think this major investment in over 61 sectors in India will actually increase the pay rates that these people are receiving for their jobs?
I think quality of life is critical. That's critical for every government, and as our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi has said, he wants the ease of life and he wants to bring it to each and every citizen of India. And from that perspective, I think every aspect of whatever helps in bringing a better quality of life is going to be an area of focus for us as an economy and for us as a government to create its policy.
Thank you. I think the climate and unusual weather events are also having a big impact on quality of life and also take a lot of the government's resources. What will India's presence be at the upcoming G20 summit in Indonesia, please?
So, Sage, as you know, India is taking over the presidency of G20 next year on. So we do have a very central role to play in that platform. Sustainability and climate, which you both mentioned, are core subjects. They are close to our economy, they are close to our polity, and our leadership and our Prime Minister has already focused this. In fact, I must mention to you that India is probably the only one which maintained its position in the G20 and could keep up to its commitments of under 2 degrees Celsius of that happening. This is something very seriously taken up by our leadership. And we hope to see how we can work together to make this a more vibrant platform. In fact, India already is currently in West India, is the president at the World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, based out of Geneva with a membership of over 105 countries. And even within that, we are looking at creating a G20 carve to see how the investment promotion agencies can get together and see structures which can be created for helping and assisting and enhancing financing towards sustainable and green projects across the world and at our own countries. So yes, it is going to be very important, and we hope to see some good outcomes coming out of this one.
Fantastic. In your opinion, what do you see as the main aim for international students? We're seeing many people benefit from study in Australia coming from India, and now a point of discussion at the seminar was to find programs where Australian students can also benefit from cross-cultural exchange in India. Do you think the main benefit would be to relocate or to create local infrastructure and systems?
To both and more, actually, if I would say so. I think, look about it, international study is more about exchange of ideas, people, thoughts, about bringing societies and cultural situations together. Apart from the fact, obviously, about providing skilling, and more importantly, providing skilled jobs, and more important than that, providing the ability to have people who can fill those skilled jobs. So one of the biggest strengths of India, as we see, is its human resource, starting from the IT industry to the research industry to virtually every aspect of it. You're seeing Indians playing a critical role. And that 1.6 billion of human resource, which I mentioned to you in 2047, which is 1.36 today, I think that is where you're seeing India taking a position and working closely with the world and its partners in providing skilled manpower. And the moment you talk about education and skilling and reskilling now, which to my mind is one of the most critical aspects going forward, all these things work together very importantly. And I see more and more of that happening, Sage. I see more of, hopefully, looking at Australian students spending time with us in India. India, as you see, in any case, see a large number of our students spending time and picking up skills in Australia. And hopefully it not just brings cultures and societies together, but it assists and enhances better profitability of industries going forward. And also about new ideas and thoughts and new solutions to the new world.
Yes, I think they say that the most successful teams are the ones with members from diverse backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. We're starting to wind up the discussion now, and India is one of the biggest democracies in the world. And at the moment, it is synonymous for Bollywood and cricket. Do you see the possibility of Australia-India co-productions in film?
Please, absolutely. We would look forward to that. In fact, we've already started seeing, now you talk about cricket, some of your cricketers in our movies which are coming in. But yes, entertainment and Bollywood and cricket do remain one of the big attractions, Sage. But hopefully we will now see other elements which will bring both these countries, societies together. Thank you.
As we wind up the discussion, one last question. India's 100th anniversary is coming up. What do you see as India's main goals for trade and investment, keeping in mind their environmental policy and social consciousness?
100 days to go for that one. Well, societal climate remains absolutely core, from each and every citizen up to the leadership. It is a determined pathway going forward, not just for us, and that is where we're seeing a large element of frugal innovation which is happening in India, which is leading that path. But hopefully we will be able to share those with our partners around the world to be able to bring sustainable solutions for everyone. But most importantly, on growth and trade, we are looking at India paving the way for a new green industrial revolution, if I may say so. And also to try and see if we can bring economic growth and contribute not just for our own citizens, but for the entire world. So for us in India, Sage, as our leader has said, we are looking for partnerships. And we are looking to walk, holding the hands of our partners towards the prosperity of us and for everyone else around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights. They were so valuable. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sage. Namaskar.
If you've just joined us, we had a very insightful, informative and inspiring discussion about more foreign direct investment in India. From the CEO of Invest India, Deepak Bagla. Please watch the full interview if you missed any part of that on Kalkine Media's YouTube channel. And this is Sage, inviting you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.